Brought to you by GatewayCitySavers.com.
In or Out with Jim Hanifin and Rick Venturi, exclusively on 101ESPN.com. Now your host, Brian Stahl.
Welcome back to 101ESPN.com with Tony Softli and Rick Venturi. I'm Brian Stahl for this week's edition of In or Out. And gentlemen, let's start with those Arizona Cardinals. An embarrassing loss, frankly, on Monday night. They find themselves 3-8. They've had quarterback issues. Are you in or out? I'll start with you, Rick, that actually Kurt Warner is responsible for their record this season.
Well, I'm going to go in on that because he was obviously, he had a great impact on that franchise. I mean, he came in there when they weren't very good, took him in there. Warner alone wouldn't make the difference, though. They suffered so many losses, and you could just kind of see it coming. But starting with Warner, yeah, I'd be in on that.
How about you, Tony? In or out that Warner, even though he's not there, he's actually, because he's not there, responsible for their record?
Yeah, I'm in on that as well. I think this is a quarterback-driven league. We've said it before. If you don't have a good one, you're in trouble, and they don't have one at all. So, yeah, I think, you'd hate to blame it on Kurt Warner, but Hall of Fame quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback, and, he's well missed.
Now, Kurt Warner obviously decided to retire. Arizona, however, decided in the offseason to pass on Anquan Boldin, who winds up in Baltimore. Are you in or out that if Boldin stays in Arizona, if they work out the deal, they have more than 3 wins?
You know what? I'm out on that again, and I'll tell you why. Is because quarterback. You have to throw the ball to a receiver. If you can't get it to the receivers, here's Larry Fitzgerald, arguably one of the best receivers in the National Football League. He has about 700 yards receiving, but I mean, they just don't have a quarterback.
What about you, Rick? In or out, Boldin gives this team more than 3 wins?
I'm out. I'm very much in line with Tony on that. I love Anquan Boldin. I mean, I think he's really made Baltimore a better team, but it all starts with the trigger guy. And the way the Arizona quarterbacks have played this year, the way the defense have played, no way Anquan makes that much difference.
We saw in Denver, Steven Jackson had a lot of carries, didn't get the yardage, but it helped the passing game. That said, this Sunday, are you in or out, Rick? We go back to you, that Steven Jackson will have more rushing yards than the duo of Beanie Wells and Tim Hightower combined.
I'm in on that because I'm going to be sick if he doesn't. I mean, I think, Arizona showed the vulnerabilities Monday night on the inability to stop the run. Their defense is really a mess. I know they'll rally for one game. Wisnott will get them ready to play, but right now they're so vulnerable to the run. They got injuries up front. Dockett got nicked. Campbell didn't play. So I expect Steven to have a big game.
What about you? In or out, Tony, on SJ having more than Hightower and Wells?
I'm out on that one. These 2 running backs from Arizona are pretty good. They've been productive most of the year. It's 2 guys running against one. I would have to go with the Arizona running game. Steven Jackson carried the ball 29 times last week, 78 yards, I do believe is what it was. They're having trouble starting to get the run going, and that's why Sam's passing more. They're going towards the pass more, so I think his attempts are going to be limited.
All right, we'll find out what happens tomorrow. Don't forget, pregame begins on 101 ESPN at noon. And, of course, you can catch more videos in action here, including Randy Carricker's What He Learned on Monday, right here at 101ESPN.com. For Rick Venturi and Tony Softli, I'm Brian Stahl, and we are out.